56 receivers have eclipsed 10,000 yards in NFL history, but only 12 have topped 14,000. None of them are active, and 9 of them have been enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Before we go on, if you're constantly thinking about football history and facts, please like and subscribe to this channel. Always be thinking football. Let's get to the list. At number 12 is James Lofton at Stanford University, who debuted in 1978. Lofton was the inaugural member of the 14,000-yard club and held the all-time record until it was broken by Jerry Rice. We'll get to him later. Lofton spent his career with 5 teams, drafted number 6 overall by the Packers, then moving on to the Raiders, before stopping by Buffalo to lose 3 Super Bowls in a row, then finishing with short stints with the Rams and Eagles, both in 1993. Lofton was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2003. Recently enshrined in the Hall of Fame, Andre Johnson is 11th all-time in receiving yards. The greatest Houston Texan of all time, Johnson was drafted 3rd overall out of Miami in 2003. He spent the majority of his career in Houston, before playing 16 games with the Colts and 8 with the Titans to finish things up. A man that spent his entire career with the Colts is 10th on the list. Reggie Wayne, also from the U, drafted 30th overall in 2001, checks in with 14,345 yards. Reggie caught the vast majority of his passes from Peyton Manning, but was also in Indy for the beginning of the rather brief Andrew Luck era. Reggie caught Manning's only touchdown pass in their triumph over the Bears in Super Bowl 41. Wayne has been eligible for Hall of Fame enshrinement for 5 years, but has been left out each time. And another lifelong Colt appears at 9th place. Marvin Harrison, taken 19th overall in the great receiver draft of 1996 out of Syracuse, accumulated 14,580 yards over a 13-year career that included 3 first-team All-Pros and 5 second-team All-Pros. Of course, Marvin was also on that Super Bowl 41 champion team as well. Only 3 players on the list were not drafted in the first round. Taken in the 3rd round of the 2001 draft out of Utah, Steve Smith played the majority of his career with the Carolina Panthers before moving on to the Ravens for 3 seasons. Smith also accumulated 4,000 return yards and is 9th all-time in all-purpose yards. He's named an All-Pro as a kick returner in his rookie season. Smith played in Super Bowl 38 versus the Patriots, and he caught a touchdown pass in that game as the Panthers came up short of capturing a title. Smith is yet to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, despite being eligible since 2022. The only Heisman Trophy winner on the list, Tim Brown, was taken 6th overall out of Notre Dame in 1988. He spent every year of his career with the Raiders, except for the final year, which he spent with Tampa with the Buccaneers, with whom he caught his final and 100th touchdown. Brown put together a run of 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons and reached the 2002 Super Bowl, but was thwarted by his former coach, John Gruden. Number 6 on the list was such an amazing athlete. He averaged 6.4 points over 82 games for the Cal Bears basketball team, while moonlighting as a football player, before being drafted 13th overall by the Kansas City Chiefs in 1997. Tony Gonzalez was named first-team All-Pro an astonishing 5 times, including at age 36, while accumulating over 15,000 receiving yards for the Chiefs and Falcons. Gonzalez was never able to play in a Super Bowl. Losing the NFC Championship in 2012 was the closest he ever got. Gonzalez is arguably the greatest tight end ever, and he's definitely the most prolific, which is why he's 6th on the list. Isaac Bruce is the 5th all-time leading receiver. Drafted 33rd overall out of Memphis, Bruce played most of his entire career with the Rams, playing his final 26 games with the 49ers. Bruce exploded in his second year with 1,781 yards and followed that up by leading the NFL with 1,338 yards. Bruce was a pillar of the greatest show on turf, Rams, that won Super Bowl 34 and narrowly lost Super Bowl 36 to the Patriots. The top 4 receivers on this list are almost without question the 4 greatest receivers ever. Randy Moss might have gone to Notre Dame, and he might have gone to Florida State, but after some controversy, the number 4 all-time leading receiver found himself at Marshall. After being a Heisman finalist, he's drafted 21st overall in the 1998 draft by the Minnesota Vikings and instantly ignited the league, leading the NFL in touchdown catches, being named first-team All-Pro, and helping the Vikings to a 15-1 record. He would consistently produce for the Vikings until they decided to move on from him before the 2005 season. After 2 lackluster campaigns in Oakland, Moss submitted one of the greatest regular seasons ever in 2007 with the Patriots. In addition to being named first-team All-Pro for his 4th and final time, Moss caught a still record 23 touchdowns and helped Tom Brady throw a then-record 50 touchdown passes, as the Patriots became the only team to ever go 16-0. That year was also the first time Moss would play and lose in a Super Bowl. After that season, Moss had 2 more good, not great years with the Pats, before playing for 3 teams in 2010, including another stint with the Vikes and a stop in Tennessee. After sitting out the 2011 season, Moss came back for 2012 in San Francisco, helping the Niners reach the Super Bowl and coming oh so close to capturing his elusive ring. Alas, it was not to be, and Super Bowl 47 was the last game Moss would ever play. While Randy Moss had a bit of a troubled career, number 3 on the list almost puts him to shame. Terrell Owens was drafted in the 3rd round of the 1996 draft out of Tennessee Chattanooga by the San Francisco 49ers. Owens failed to top 1,000 yards 3 of his first 4 seasons. Owens then eclipsed 1,000 yards 8 of his next 9 seasons, going from the Niners to the Eagles, then to the Cowboys in that time. The one year he didn't go over 1,000 yards, Owen was suspended by the Eagles coach Andy Reid for saying in a radio interview that the Eagles would be better if they had Brett Favre than Donovan McNabb. Owens played his last game that season on October 30th and was signed by the Cowboys before the next season. After a shaky first season with coach Bill Parcells, Owens was named first-team All-Pro for the 5th and final time in 2007. Owens finished his career with good, not great seasons for the Bills and Bengals in 2009 and 2010. He never captured a Super Bowl championship, but did play well in his only appearance in Super Bowl 39, despite having broken his lower leg only 6 weeks earlier. Owens did his Hall of Fame induction speech from his alma mater rather than at Canton, presumably because he felt slighted for not going in on the first ballot. He probably has a case. The number 2 all-time leading receiver might possibly be the least controversial person on the list. Larry Fitzgerald was picked 3rd overall in the 2000 draft out of the University of Pittsburgh by the Arizona Cardinals. Fitzgerald played all of his 263 career games with the Cardinals. Probably his finest season, he earned his only first-team All-Pro in 2008. And while his regular season was good that year, his postseason was legendary. He set the all-time record for yards in a postseason with 546 over 4 games, going over 100 yards in all 4, and culminating with 127 yards and 2 touchdowns in Super Bowl 43, in which the Cardinals fell narrowly to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fitzgerald had a bit of resurgence in the years in 2014, 15, and 16, going over 1,000 yards every year, doing most of that damage with Carson Palmer at quarterback. Fitzgerald retired after the 2020 campaign and is yet to become eligible for Hall of Fame enshrinement, but should be one of the easiest first ballot decisions the voters could possibly have. Nobody needs to be told who the number 1 receiver of all time is. He's basically synonymous with receiving greatness. Jerry Rice was drafted 16th overall out of Mississippi Valley State in 1985 by the 49ers. He didn't quite reach 1,000 yards his rookie season, and then ripped off 11 straight seasons of 1,000+ yards receiving, being named first-team All-Pro in 10 of those seasons. As prolific as Jerry Rice was in the regular season, he was almost better in the postseason. He won MVP of Super Bowl 23, going for over 200 yards receiving. In his other 2 Super Bowl wins, he had over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns in each game. He even scored in his lone Super Bowl loss with Oakland in 2002. Rice's time in Oakland included 2,000-yard seasons in addition to his Super Bowl appearance. Rice finished his career with Seattle in his 20th season in 2004. Who will be cracking the 14,000 all-time receiving yards list? Nobody is eminent at this time. DeAndre Hopkins is currently closest. Tyreek Hill might have the best chance. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. will join his father on the list. The next player to join this club might not even be in college yet. It's a special club that takes a lot of talent and a little luck to gain entrance to. Please comment below your thoughts on the list, or maybe another football subject you'd like to see. Maybe we'll make a video for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, always be thinking football.